Hey guys, I am going to do a comparison and contrast video today between the B6.2 current configurations for carpet and the B6.2D 4-gear stand-up. So when I was shopping around for a 4-gear stand-up, I scoured YouTube and couldn't find any videos on the 4-gear stand-up. So I decided I would make one, but too little too late. It's been discontinued, so it's kind of pointless, but anyway, it'll be out there for people to look at if they're curious as to what this 4-gear stand-up configuration looks like. So let's start with the laydown. So if you look at the laydown gearbox configuration, these holes in the chassis here are for the chassis brace that is attached to your gearbox. The screws for the laydown are in the holes furthest forward, okay? And that's because the laydown moves the motor as far forward as possible. The idea is that this configuration works good on high grip tracks where forward traction isn't that important because there's a lot of traction in the surface of the track itself. So if you can move that motor forward, you're going to get more corner speed. Races are won in corners, not on straightaways. So this configuration is ideal for high grip track where you want corner speed more so than forward traction. Okay, so a couple of other things of note on my carpet car is the shocks are on the front of the tower. I'm using the regular size tower, so not the tall or long. I'm using 27.5mm bodies as opposed to 31 that I use on my dirt cars, okay? Open pinion and spur with just a little bit of a cover on top here. So everything is exposed. The slipper adjustments are on this side, and you'll notice that the motor is on the left side. If you're behind the car, the motor's on the left side. 4-gear stand-up shocks, the tower goes on the back of the gearbox. There's no two ways about that. That's your only option. Know that if you do find one of these, want to switch over, the alignment between the shock tower and the gearbox is atrocious. I emailed Associated, and they're, in all their infinite wisdom, their reply was, well, the holes should line up. Really, Sparky? The holes should line up? The tower should attach effortlessly to the gearbox? You're kidding me. Ah, well, it doesn't. So be aware of that, and you have to, you got to be careful. You got to put the screws in one at a time and slowly work them in, because it's really bad how poorly the alignment is. So, also the 4-gear stand-up uses the old B6 era chassis brace, where the lay down and lay back, you don't need a chassis brace. The gearbox goes all the way out to the back of the chassis, and there's just no brace there for the gearbox and chassis. So that's another difference. There's some extra bits there that you're used to seeing on a B6, not a B6.2. But the 4-gear does fit on I've never tried to put one on a B6, but it will fit on the 0.1 and the 0.2 for sure. I mean, here it is on a 0.2. So the other thing you're going to notice with the 4-gear stand-up is you get an old school gear cover that covers your pinion and your spur. And this configuration, what the 4 gears does, it really picks the motor up and moves it back. It's as high and as far back as possible, and still being considered a mid-motor car. So also I'm running brass C and brass D blocks, again for added traction. Brass lipo weights. I don't think I tested those last year in a buggy, but I sure did test them in my SC 6.1, and they really made the difference. Sort of the 4-gear stand-up. I had to put a 4-gear stand-up in my SC 6.1 to get it to hook up on our tracks, and combination of the 4-gear stand-up, the battery weights, and probably, well, they were muzzle loader bullets, 2 of them for 50 cal strapped to the back. I don't even remember how much they weigh. Probably in the neighborhood of like 300 grains each. And I don't know how to convert grains to grams in my head. So anyway, that certainly helped. So the other thing to note is the motor is, when you're behind the car, on the right side. And the reason for that is it uses the rotation of the motor to help produce forward traction as well. So unfortunately, Associated has discontinued this product, probably because, you know, there's no need for it in areas with modern tracks with man-made surfaces that create a lot of grip, because they're filled with wood glue and pop and syrup and sugar and God only knows what else, French fire grease, right? All those things that are added to the surface to produce high grip, because that's how people like it. So you would never use this on a high grip track. This is for low grip tracks. When you really should be using a rear motor but don't have a rear motor, this is what you go to. And chatting with Ray Monday, he believes that a properly set up mid-motor car will be faster than a rear motor car regardless of the track conditions. That's a bold statement for these parts, but we will see. I built a rear motor car, and this car is, I don't know what else I can do to it to create traction. I mean, it even has B5 arms on it. Reason for that, and I've swapped them from left to right. They produce some sweep. So just like Ray's modification on a layback car, where you take 4 millimeters off of the front of the rear arms to bring the wheels forward, the closer to the motor you can get the wheels, the more traction you're going to generate. So these B5 arms sweep the wheels forward and bring them up closer to the motor. So I haven't driven it yet. We're under 16 feet of snow here in New Brunswick, so it'll be a while before I get out to test that. So on this car, I'll be testing these B5 arms, regular B6.2 arms, and the 4 millimeter conversion. So we'll see what that does. But anyway, there you have it. That's what a 4-gear stand-up looks like in a B6.2D. I wish it was still being produced, but if I'm Associated, I'm not making parts that nobody wants to buy. What they should be doing is making sure they get all of their SR10 and Pro SE10 parts back in stock, because those are hot items and the parts are always out of stock. But what do I know? Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this was somewhat informative, perhaps even entertaining. Take care.